need two sets, okay? Group actions need two sets like vector space. We say V is a vector space over F. Like that, G is acting on a set S. Okay, so let me write that. So group action so we need two sets. So it is like vector space. So vector space also need two sets, right? V is vector space over a field F, right? So like that, here also we need two sets. So what are the two sets we required? One of them is G, other is set X, okay, where G is a group and X is a non-empty set. Okay, empty set again, why unnecessarily, right? We can't do anything. So we need two sets, right? Yeah. 1 minute. Let me close this one so that it will be much more clear. Enter board. Right. So here X is a non-empty set and G is a group. So now G is acts on X if there exists a map F from G cross X to X. Okay, so there exists a map. So as you know, there exist many maps from any between if I give two sets, but it has to satisfy some condition, then only we'll say that G acts on set X. Okay, so G is acting on set X if there exists a map F from G cross X to X satisfying few conditions. Like again recall that V is a vector space over F. There is some map, right? Can you recall the map like this? Any one of you?
Scalar multiplication.
Scalar multiplication. It is a map from where to where?
F cross V to V.
F cross V to V, like that here, G cross X to X. So we can always think background pay F is acting on V. Okay, if you have something that is familiar to you, that's why I'm connecting it to that. Again, so that is a map, right? What is a map? F cross V to V, the scalar multiplication, but just map is not sufficient. It has to satisfy some condition there itself. Here also there are two conditions it need to satisfy to say that G acts on X. Okay, so G acts on X, then only it is true. Okay, what is that the first thing? So it is taking ordered pair, right? So F is takes G comma X. So it maps to an element. Okay, first I am writing that so some element here. So it maps a tuple to an element in X, right? So Y is an element in X. Okay, so what is that the conditions? First condition is that F of E comma X. Okay, so you know that G is a group, so there is an identity element here. So F of E comma X equal to X for every X in X. So better to write quantifiers beginning. So I'll write like this: for every X belongs to capital X, okay, F of E comma X is equal to X, right? So this is the first condition. So second condition is that, so note that, so this is some people call as a left action. G is acting on the left side, but similarly some people depend X cross G to X. but I do not want to confuse you. We'll just stick to action. Group action means left action. Okay, at this juncture, if needed, we can discuss about right action. If somebody is very urgent to know that, then you can go and read on your own. Okay, when time comes, we may enter into that, but one of them is sufficient to understand all the things. Okay, so first condition is that. Now second condition, for every g comma h belongs to g, for every x belongs to x, so f of g f of hx. So what is that happening here? First h acting on x, this is generally we'll call acting. First h acting on x, and f of hx is an element of capital X. Now g acting on that element. Okay, so what is that we are predicting now? So I remove this bracket, right? No, I have to put that bracket. Okay, so this is equal to, what is that? Somebody can tell me that what is that you are predicting? So first acting h on x, then acting g on that is same as some prediction you can make. No, okay, that is f of
Acting GH on X.
gh on x directly. Yeah, acting gh on x, right? So this is the second condition. If these two conditions satisfies, then we say that g acting on a set x. So G set to act on a set X if first of all it is a map, actually existence of a map satisfying these conditions. Okay, so again I told you that this action is called, generally called left action, right? So but you see that the notation little bit cumbersome every time writing f brackets and all these things, so that's why we'll simplify the notation. So what we will do the notation, so f of g comma x. Okay, so we'll simply write this, we define it as g dot x. Okay, in future even I put not put dot also, simply I write this is equal to gx, so we can understand from the context. Okay, when very much required to understand, then I'll put dot. Okay, sometimes I do not put dot, but we need to understand that depending upon the context, so you are mature enough to distinguish that. Okay, so now based on this, how you write the two operations now? This dot is the function now. Okay, so what is the first condition? Somebody can help me.
For all x belongs to x,
For
ex
all
is
x
equal to
belongs to e dot x or ex is equal to x. Okay, what about second condition, Vienna? For all
for all
g comma h belongs to g, and for all x belongs to x, right? Yeah.
g dot bracket
Mm.
h
H
dot
dot
x
uh, is
is
equal
equal
to
to h
uh,
dot x.
dot x. So this is an element in the group gh. Gh is an element in the group. So g dot h dot x. H is acting on x, then acting by g. Okay, so bracket closed. So this is whenever you are able to find a function like that, so then we say that g acting on x, and this function need not be unique. G can act on x many different ways. That is the whole crux of the group actions. Okay, so there are why we need to study this. Sometimes the group acting on x will help us to understand x. Sometimes by varying x we can understand g also. Okay, there are two way of, both are useful here. Okay, for example, we will take different actions. With that action I'll partition the set x. So with they'll satisfy all those elements in that partition, satisfy some nice property, right? So that is very much useful in data analysis and any other places. We have a data, we make into clusters. This cluster have some common information. I don't know still group actions are using in data analysis, but that is natural. Okay. So G acting on set X, and then we'll partition the X by using this action. So we will do in such a way that they have some common properties under this action, under this G. Right. Okay. So any questions till now related to the definition? Okay, so I'll repeat again. Group action means that G is a, we need two sets G and X. Group action require two sets G and X. It is like a vector space V is vector space over F. So G acts on X if there exists a map F from G cross X to X. Okay, satisfying conditions that for every X in X, F of E comma X equal to X. For every G comma H in G, X is in X. F of G of F of Hx, H acting on X, then acting by G is same as GH acting on X. So the notation is G dot X or Gx simply. So E dot X equal to X for every X. So from this you can see that E dot X equal to X for every X means E is a E is we can think of E something. Can you somebody comment before I say? For every X belongs to X, Ex equal to X. So E and
It
X
does
connection.
nothing.
Yes.
Identity type.
E is a function actually. E is like acting like a function. It is a function from where to where?
Identity map.
X to X. It is a function identity map on X. It is taking every element X to again X to X itself. It is like a map. So that we will see. So this first property itself is telling us that each element small g in capital G is like a function now, is a function. So function from where to where? So if you look at the map here, F is a map from G cross X to X. So once I fix G, I keep vary X, then it is a map from X to X.
X to X.
That is very much clear. One can easily see that, I hope. Right? So that way, each element we can think as a map from X to X. But later we'll see that which map they are. Okay. Yeah, so each element is like a function. Okay. G is a map from X to X. So okay, let us see. We'll see these properties in a while after having some examples of group actions. So example one, first let us see. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Okay, let us take an example. My G is equal to 1 comma minus 1. Okay, and my set X is equal to whole of real numbers. Right. So what is the map I will do? So now I have to define a map. Okay, so I am defining this G belongs to G. So G dot X I have to define, right? So I am defining it as, so G is from G. That means G is either 1 or minus 1, right? So generally people write minus 1, 1, but set there is no problem. But again, I will also change like that, minus 1 comma 1. I hope you know that it is a group with respect to multiplication. That part is okay. Now G dot X I am defining simply Gx. Okay, just G into X, because this 1 and minus 1 are also elements of the real numbers. So I'll just multiply them. Okay, so now is it a group action? Question is that is this action is a group action? Is G acts on R with above action? Question mark, right? Yeah. So over to you. So we need to
Yes.
prove two conditions. Okay, what is the first condition?
Identity.
For every x belongs to real number. So identity here is 1. So 1 dot x equal to 1x, that is equal to x. So 1 dot x equal to x. So that is done. So next thing is, so for every x comma y in R, okay, so you may little get bit bored, but I have to, this is my duty. In the beginning we need to be clear about things. Okay, sorry, x comma x belongs
Why
to R,
R?
and yeah, x belongs to R, and I'll write like that. So g comma h belongs to G, and x belongs to R. But here, okay, that may be anything. Okay, so g dot h dot x, okay, so is equal to gh dot x. We need to see. Now here g and h have finite number of possibilities, so one can check all of the cases like case by case. G equal to 1, h equal to 1, then this is true. G equal to 1 and h equal to -1, this is true, like that. I hope you can verify it. You already verified, right?
Sir, because it's a group, so an R में elements है G के. So it's associate. So
Yeah, right. Associative property, correct. That way also one can see. Yeah, so clearly it is a group action. Now here, so in this example itself, now I am restricting again this to 1 comma -1 only. Okay, now I can see that it is again with the same action. Now my set x equal to, I'll take my x equal to integers. Is it still a map? Is it still an action? Okay, is still an action. Yeah, with the same action, multiplication, right? You should be careful enough. For example, if I take x equal to natural numbers, still it is an action. Yeah, you can comment.
Yes.
It's
Both
not
the
a binary operation.
cases it is an action.
It's not a function. Means like you can multiply by -1, then it will go out of n. So
Right, it is not a function. Okay, right. So that is not working for any subset. Okay, so there are some problems may come if you restrict it to a subset of it. It may go beyond that, right? Yeah. So why I'm telling this particular aspect? So an action can be induced on a smaller subset, right? In future it may come, right? So I hope you are also predicting that, things of that nature. Okay, now I'll take the same set g is equal to 1 minus 1 and my set x is equal to real numbers. But for first there is no problem, right? It is still, it is an action. Okay. Okay, if I take x equal to real numbers, now I am defining my g dot x equal to, so I am defining again the same set, same group G, but now I am defining it is equal to, defined as x power G. Is it correct? Is there any problem? Why you are taking so much time? Hello?
No, sir.
It is not a map. Why? So problem with 0, right? I don't know why you are not responding anyhow. So if I remove 0,
Now it's fine, sir.
now it's fine. So you can easily check that 1 dot x equal to x power 1 goes to x. So identity will working. -1, 1 by x. So is it true that second property also, are you checked in your mind? Gh dot x. Okay. Okay, so that is the first example. I hope you are clear with this example.
That
Yeah.
suppose that we are checking the second property. No, it's correct. I thought like 1 raised to -1, but it will be 1 into -1 only.
Okay, so now I am going for example 2. So example 2 is that I am taking my G is equal to Z plus, okay, integers plus. It is a group with respect to addition, you know that. Now my set again X equal to real numbers only. Now the map I am defining, okay, so I'll take G from here and X from here. So G from here and X from here. So G dot X, G acting, so integer acting on the real number. How I am defining? I am defining it as G plus X. Okay, so what is this actually? This is a translation, right? So entire real number को मैं shift कर रहा हूँ. So G units, right? So is it a group action?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, first condition you checked that 0 dot x, that is 0 plus x equal to x only. And second condition, if you translate first by h units, then again g units, then it is g plus h units, right? So here second condition, be careful, it is not g to h, g plus h, okay? So that is the reason I gave this example, okay? So you are all convinced that it is a group action, okay? Yes, it is a group action. Good, nice. So anyone want to give one example, you can give it. Some of you may already come across this topic, so you can give.
A common example from Sn to In.
Sn to? Okay.
In means the set 1 to n.
Okay, okay, okay. So let us say, so Sn, my G is equal to, so you already studied a little bit. You are MSc student.
Yes, sir. A little bit. No. BSc only.
BSc only, okay. So G is equal to Sn, symmetric group, and In is equal to, as you pointed out, sometimes people denote like 1 comma n, right? This is equal to the set 1, 2, 3 up to n. Very good. So actually you are giving infinite examples here for each n, okay. So how it acts, so that we need to define properly. So it is not Anirban, somebody else can tell us that how we define. That means I take sigma, right? Sigma is an element of Sn, and I take an element x in In, right? Where I can take it. So it has to be an element in again In, okay? So but remember that Sn cross In to In, I need that map, right? I need a map of that type. Yeah, so sigma where I had to, yeah. Anyone except Anirban?
Sigma of x.
A sigma of x, right? It is sigma of x. So check again, correct. Actually, it is a map from Sn cross In to In. So I am taking sigma permuting the elements of In. So if I take 1, for example, sigma 1 is another element from this set 1 to n. So this is perfectly fine. Sn cross In to In. Good. So is it a group action? So if I take identity map, then it fixes every element, identity element. So Sn is set of all 1 1 onto maps from In to In. So and identity map anyhow fixing everything. So that part is done. Now the second part is also first acting and by H sigma 1 and then by sigma 2 and is same as sigma 2 sigma 1 acting on X. That also I think easy to see. Yeah. So can I extend it to, so this example only I will want to say something more. Okay. That will be very useful. Okay. So my G is equal to again Sn. My set X equal to now Rn. Okay. Set of all n tuples. So now I have to take a sigma and an n tuple X, capital X. Okay, there is a confusion, this X and that X. I hope you understand that X means here vector. Okay, so X equal to x1 comma x2 comma and so on comma xn. Okay, with that observation, right? So can somebody help me that how you define it? That means now sigma has to take n tuple to n tuple. So actually I am writing one more time here for clarity. So this is a map from here to Rn again. Okay, I hope I am clear. So can somebody tell me the map? Whatever comes natural to you.
Sir, just if you don't know, we are raising our hands.
Fan?
We are raising our hands when you ask a question.
Okay, no need to raise hand actually. See, very less number of students are there. Yeah, now you can go ahead, tell. Yeah. Now you are also familiar. Yeah, you are also familiar to yourself, all of you. So it's okay if 1% talks also every time, no problem. That's okay. Yeah.
X sigma 1.
X sigma 1.
X sigma 2.
Right, correct. So X sigma 2 and so on, X sigma n, right? So clearly it is actually permuting the coordinates, right? So a simple example, yeah. So is it now telling this map is okay, but your goal is to check that whether it is a group action or not, okay? But for that, let us take an example, simple example first. So let us fix n is equal to 2 case. So sigma 2, so it contains identity and the sigma, right? Identity and sigma, only 2 elements it has. And here again, this identity is what it will do. It maps 1 to 1 and 2 goes to 2. And the sigma takes 1 goes to 2 and 2 goes to 1, right? Okay. So what is that E acting on 1 comma 2? E dot 1 2.
1 comma 2.
1 2 only.
1 comma 2.
What is the sigma acting on 1 2?
2 comma 1.
2 comma 1. That is the meaning of this, right? So here x1 is 1, x2 is 2. Okay, this is x1 and it is x2. So now sigma of 1 is 2, sigma 2 is 1. So that's why they interchanged. So basically, what is this? This sigma is doing. If I take my R2, S2 acting on R2, what it is doing?
Reflecting about y equal to x.
It is reflecting about y is equal to x line, right? So it is taking and identity not doing anything. Okay, so we are reflecting. So which points it will both of them will not affect?
On the line.
On the line y is equal to x, right? So these are the points. These are the points on the line not affected by both E and sigma. Okay, so you can also think like that. Sorry for telling some worst example. So you joined a new college, right? So you joined a new college. So there are some students. Okay, so so you do not know cigarette smoking or drinking and all, right? They want to put some action on you, but you are a very good person, so none of the actions will affect on you. You are as it is. Okay, you are not changed, right? Day-to-day life also group actions. Of course, that is not, that group is another group. Okay, human beings, group of human beings, they will try to act on you, and so you are a human being, right? But you changed human being. Okay, sorry. So any comments till now?
Sir, I can think of another practical example
Okay.
for group action.
Okay.
Think of two switches in parallel.
Two switches. Two switches.
In parallel.
Okay.
We can have not two, four switches,
Four
and then we
switches.
can have K4 act on it.
Okay. Okay. Four switches in parallel. Okay.
And K4 can act on that.
K4 act on that. Okay. Okay. So you give some examples. So let us continue with that. Let us see. Yeah. So that is a good thing because there are elements of order too. That's why you are telling on and off and all, right? Good. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So actually, Kumarasan sir will give that football game. So first you are kicking once. So he will say football ground, and there is a particle X here. Now G acting on X. So if you kick it, it will go here. Now again, if you kick it, it will go somewhere else. So you kick directly with equal force, then will come here like that. Okay. Anyhow.
Yes, sir. In his YouTube video also he said the same thing.
Okay. Right. Okay. Good. Um, so yeah, actually SAR gave many videos on group actions. So I also not watched, but I also need to watch sometime. But whatever coming naturally to me, I'm telling. Now you told Klein for group, so I have another example coming to my mind that I will tell you. So example 4, so I'll go to example 5. So all of you are fine with this action, SN acting on RN. So he told, Anirban told SN acting on IN. Good, very nice. Now I extend it to SN acting on RN, and Vienna give the map. And this is, we need to check it is an action, but it is really action, right? So now Klein for group wala. So now I take my group G is equal to, so example number 5. Okay. Yeah. So in the meantime, you also start thinking more examples if you get it. I keep on writing examples, more and more examples. Okay. So my group G is equal to, so 1 0 0 1, right? And next example is 1 0 0 minus 1, right? And another example is minus 1 0 0 1. Okay. I hope you will tell the last element, right? Can you tell me the last element? I already told Klein for group.
Minus 1
Minus
0.
1.
Minus 1 0 0 minus 1. See, this is called representation of the Klein 4 group. Now it is concrete. Klein 4 group is abstract. Now it is becoming concrete. We are representing it. Okay, good. So now where it act? So I take x equal to R2, right? What is action I'll take? So G dot x, G dot nx. Now I will take an element x as x1, x2. Okay, as a vector in column vector. Okay, so it is simply gx only. So I defining like this. That means so 1 0 0 minus 1. So acting on x1 x2. Okay, So it will become x1 as it is minus x2, right? So this is like that. Okay, so is every element is so here I just ask one question. Okay, first of all check that is it a group action?
Yes, it is.
It is group action, yeah. Okay, so but I'll ask this question to you. So under the action of these four elements, where this 1, 2 goes, can you predict that?
1, 2.
We
first
will
to
take
1,
combinations.
yeah, 1, 2, it will go to 1, 2, first element की वजह से identity. Second element, it goes to 1 minus 2. So third, it will goes to minus 1, 2. Last, it will go to minus 1, minus 2. Are you okay? So this element, none of them are equal, you see. All of them are different. So later we may use it. Okay, so can I get?
So if we draw
Yeah.
draw this on R2, it will be like equally spacing it around the origin.
Right, exactly. So actually this
A
group is
square.
actually this group is actually a group of reflections, right? This is a reflection, this is a reflection, this is a reflection, है ना?
Yes.
Yeah, so reflections are these are all orthogonal transformations. Orthogonal transformations preserves the distance, right? And they are fixing the origin anyhow. Is there any point in R2 which fixed by this group G?
Origin?
Only origin. Is there any other element? Origin anyhow fixing. Good. Very good.
No,
I
sir.
think no.
No.
No, none of the. So if we take any other element, then at least one of the element will change to some other element. है ना? Yeah. Good. So that may be useful later. So though it looks simple example, but it is useful. Okay. So even first example minus 1 1 acting on x, so that is also good, right? So minus 1 comma 1 acting on the real numbers, right? So which element it fixes? Here also they are actually reflections, you see. Minus 1 also reflecting the real line, right?
So is it like, can we take like determinant and then multiply component wise? So for example, in this, we take x is equal to r, but in that one, x is equal to r2.
Right.
And the determinants are 1 and minus 1.
Okay. Yeah, determinants may play a role, but I don't know how here. Yeah, so actually rotations, reflections are actually give determinant minus 1. Rotations are plus 1. So maybe that's why determinant all of these cases are minus 1 except the first and last. So this is a rotation. Okay. So any questions till now? Okay. So you want to
Sir,
give more
I have-
examples?
Right.
Right. Yeah, please.
When you said rotations, complex roots of unity over CM.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Actually, these are square roots of unity. Means x square minus 1. So that's why I again show you the first example, example 1. So later you can generalize that 3 by 3 representation for other groups. Okay. Yeah. So we'll not go into that at this
Sir,
time.
how?
Yeah, that's what. So let us fix to group actions only, right? So is it till now, is it a group action or not? G is acting on X is fine. And yeah, so you know how an element going to. So later we will see that these four elements constitute the orbit of this, something called orbit. Orbit of 1 2 is 1 2 1 minus 2 minus 1 2 and minus 1 minus 2. So I'll just write, later I will explain you. So orbit of this element, okay, 1 2. So orbit of an element X, okay, which is equal to this set. So that is 1 2 1 minus 2 minus 1 2 minus 1 minus 2. So orbit are defined for which elements? So can you generally tell orbit of here? We are taking element here. This is an element where? Element of? Can you tell it?
R2.
R2. So what is R2 in this particular example? So my set X, right? G acting on the set X. So this element is an element from X, orbit of an X. Okay. So how we defined it? Naturally, I'm asking. I'm not at define, but you can first tell.
Let G vary over G, then also GX.
So it is actually G dot X such that. So it is a definition. G dot X says that G belongs to G, right? So it is subset of what?
X.
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 Right, good. So here it is subset of R2 in general. So I am going to define it in a while. So yeah, so here for general element, can you tell me the orbit? So general element is AB, right? So you know all the elements here, except of
AB.
course, except that 0 0, then it is only 0 0, right? We need to divide into cases. So मान लो 0 0 case को हटा दे, then now you are thinking, right? You are not telling. So A can be
No,
0,
but
B can be 0.
why?
Yeah.
We don't need to remove its set representation. So if something is repeated, it will go no.
Yeah, it will go. But okay, so what is the possible cardinality of this set?
1 2 4.
1 2 4. Are you sure? For example, if I take 1 comma 0, what is orbit of 1 comma 0? First element is taking 1 comma 0 only, right? So second element is taking same as it is. Third element taking minus 1 comma 0. Fourth element is also taking minus 1 comma 0. So right, it is 2 for this particular thing. 4 for all, both of them are non-zero. 1 if both of them are 0. 1 2 4. Very good. Very fast. Good. All of you are clear? Size of the orbit is either 1 or 2 or 4 here. So actually I am not asked myself this question earlier also. It is came naturally to me. Then yeah, good. Okay. Right. So now let us G is acting on a set X, acts on X. So under the action G dot X, right? Now orbit of so and X belongs to X, X belongs to X. Then I define orbit of X is equal to, so G dot X, okay, orbit of X is defined as G dot X as that X belongs to G, okay. Okay, and also I can define for the
Sir.
same X, right.
G belongs to
Yeah, G belongs to G, right, thanks. G belongs to G, right? Keep changing G, and where this X goes to, what are all possible places it will go, right? And there is another thing again for given X. given X, I am creating a set, but it is very democratic. For a given X, it will be giving one subset to X. It also give one subset to G also. Somebody can guess it.
Stabilizer.
Okay, you already know, that's why you're telling, but anyhow, correct. Stabilizer of X.
Or sir, in general, we can say that the set of all elements in G which takes X to some particular Y.
That is also correct. Very good. Yeah. But here first I'm telling stabilizer, but you are saying that we can have many sets, right? Good. Right. So actually he's telling that how do I denote it? So let us say Y stabilizer, but better we'll come to that later. Yeah, good. Very nice. Actually, that is a wonderful thing. Wonderful things. So stabilizer of X equal to all G belongs to G such that somebody can say here.
Gx is equal to X.
Yes, correct. Okay, so Gx equal to X only. But as Anirban told, very nice thing. So actually somebody can define stabilizer of y of x, right? So y of x, which is equal to G belongs to G such that Gx equal to y, fixed y. Okay, all those x such that 1 minute, 1 minute. What is that I'm doing? Yeah, okay. So I am taking all those G which taking X to Y. X is fixed, Y is fixed, key G is changing. Yeah, correct. Yeah, Vienna.
Will that be a coset of the stabilizer of X?
Maybe later that you all know, then why we are actually discussing?
No, means just ask.
Yeah, okay, yeah, correct. So later we'll see that. So you are telling that first of all it is a group, it is subgroup, you are saying, right? Subgroup of group G, and then it is going to be cosets of those. So that is true, right? Yeah, later we will see those aspects, but this is my thing actually. I want to say that for every X I have one subset to this one, but here there is a small thing here. Can it be empty? Can it be empty?
Like in the previous example, for if X is 0, 0, we can take some non-zero vector Y, then
right.
it will be empty.
So there is a chance that it can be empty set also. Can you connect when it is empty and related to orbit?
Or non-empty if and only if Y is in the orbit of X.
Yeah. So stabilizer of y of x, I don't know, maybe some good notation may be there. Yeah, so stabilizer of y of x is non-empty if and only if y belongs to orbit of x. Very good. Okay. Anyhow, I will come to these definitions and we'll try to evaluate orbit stabilizers more and more again. But before going to that, we need to exhaust the definition much more. We need to look at the definition much more better way. Okay, that's why again I am going to definition only. Yeah, so you want to give more examples, then first we look into them. You want to give more examples? Any other example?
Real example, you take any set G and any set X, and we define the operation as each element does nothing to it. That is
very good. I am looking this example. I know that I thought today morning that first I want to start with that example, but at least somebody will come up with that. I am looking for till now. Yeah, so now I am happy. Now I can leave these definitions and go to that after defining this. Good. So example 5, now example 6. That's why I'm writing in another color also. So G is any group. G is a group. X is any non-empty set. Okay, so G. So for every X belongs to X, G belongs to G. So what is the action you are defining? G comma x goes to? Yes, please.
X.
X only. So can you all of you check? So here what is happening in this example? So every G belongs to G is, yeah, every G belongs to G is identity map.
Fixing it.
Yeah, identity map on X. Good. Every element is identity. Okay, so again recall what is that meaning, what is that I want to convey here. So group action means that it is a map from G cross X to X, right? So G comma X goes to some Y, right? Y is an element in X. But now once I fix G, then I can think of this Fg. Now Fg of X equal to Y. This particular thing I can write like this. That means now once I fix G belongs to G, so Fg is a map from where to where?
X to X.
X to X. Yeah, so it is a map from X to X, right? So natural questions coming. First of all, it is a function is clear. It is a function. So from X to X. So now what are the natural questions coming to you at least? Related to Fg. Fg is a map from X to X. What are the questions you are getting? I'll put more arrows if you get.
Injectiveness, bijectiveness, surjectiveness,
Yeah.
bijectiveness.
Yeah, so is it 1 question mark? Is it double question mark? Is it onto? Right? Okay, let us verify those. So Fg of X is equal to Fg of Y. Okay, I'm checking the first this condition, right? Fg of X equal to Fg of Y. So if I share the notes, I hope you understand, right? From here. Yeah, okay. Fg of X
Yes, sir.
equal to, in future also you can understand, I hope. It is because naturally the process is going. So I hope in after a few days also, I hope you can, 1 year also, I hope idea may be clear. Okay, otherwise I had to write here that, so okay, let me write here one point. By fixing G, Fg is a map from X to X. Okay. So each G belongs to G is a map from X to X. So natural questions. So in the meantime, you think about, wasting your time. Natural questions. Fg is 1 onto. Okay. So for that purpose, we are now first take this part, right? So Fg of X equal to Fg of Y. Fg of X equal to Fg of Y. Yeah, can somebody help me? How we define it? So it is G dot X or simply Gx, okay? I hope you understand that. G acting on X. Again, it is a function. I don't know which function it is. It is now abstract thing. Yeah, so next.
Can we multiply inverse, but this is not a group?
I'm not understanding. You think about yourself now. Tell properly. So it is an element. Gx is an element where? Gy is an element where? This belongs to X. This belongs to X.
So
now
act FG inverse.
G inverse acting on G inverse dot Gx. I'll acting G inverse on both sides. Right. Next one. Hello.
Now the second
Second
property.
Second property. So G inverse G inverse G acting on X. Right. So G inverse G acting on Y. Okay. G acting on Y. So, but now what next? What next?
Now the first property.
First property 1 dot x equal to 1 dot y and y x equal to y. So you see that both the properties are used to prove it is 1 1. Okay, good. Nice. This part is done. So fg is 1 1. How do you prove onto? Do not tell immediately. Let everyone think. So what do you mean by what do you mean by f is onto? You see that this theory does not require anything, functions and groups, properties of the groups. Okay, so if I take for every y in x, so there exists some element. So we can say x, okay, in x such that fg of x equal to y, right? What is that? Yeah, now we can tell.
We can solve for x.
Yeah, you can tell directly, it's okay. It is straightforward, I hope you all know. So I do not want to waste time.
It's G inverse y.
Yeah, right. So you all clearly know that. So so y belongs to x, then I'll take fg of g inverse of, yeah,
Y.
Actually, G inverse acting on Y.
yeah, g inverse acting on y. Okay, so g inverse acting on y is again an element of x, so this is equal to again y. So done. So this is the, so this part is easy. So what is happening now? What is happened till now? So moral is what? So G acts on X. So with an action, So G dot X. Then what is happening? So it is giving for each G, it is giving a FG. So what is FG? Where this FG belongs to now?
X.
No, it is not in X. FG. FG is a map from. That's why I
G
wrote.
cross X to X.
No, FG is a map from
X to x.
X to X. FG is a map from X to X. So by fixing G, FG is a map from X to X. So for each G is a map from X to X. But but what is that map? That is exactly FG. So where FG belongs to? Which map it is? It is not just a map. It is both 1 1 and onto. So FG belongs to, it is a 1 1 and onto map from X to X. So G acting on X. So each
Symmetric group
element.
of x.
Yeah,
The
I listen
symmetric
like
group of
this.
x.
Yeah, right. I wrote that part. Is it okay? I listen like that and then I wrote. So what happening now? So it is giving each element G is, once I know that G is a group acting on a set X, then for each element G I am getting an element in symmetric group of X, right? So new page. So again, so conclusion. So G acts on X implies for every G belongs to G, So Fg belongs to symmetric group of X, right? So now can I define a map now from G to where?
Symmetric group of X.
Symmetric group of X. Okay. So what is the map I can take? G going to?
G going to Fg.
Fg, right. G going to Fg only, right? So natural. So now we know that G is a group and symmetric of X is also a group. So what are the natural questions come to us? So I define this as a phi. Phi is a map from G to symmetric of X, but beforehand we have something in our already we started with. What is that we started with before coming here? You remember that? Hello? So we already have that G acts on X, okay? G acts on X and action is G dot X. So with this helped me to give a map Fg. So with this background I am here, okay? Assume that G acts on X, then I can define a map phi from G to symmetric group of X. So phi of G is equal to Fg, right? Phi of G is equal to Fg. So now over to you.
Is it a bijection?
बाइजेक्शन तो नहीं हो पाएगा. Is it correct or not? See, what is the example?
We can take.
No. See, the example which you gave. Okay, now one girl already told I'll come to her, but in a while. What about your example?
Is it a homomorphism?
That other girl asked. Sorry, who is that? Hello. So can you repeat? Yeah. So sorry, I forgot you. Yeah, what is your name? Sanghavi, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Sanghavi, correct. Please go ahead. Yeah.
So we compare this to
Is it a
group
group a homomorphism or
between homomorphisms here.
Yeah, it is a homomorphism or not, we'll check. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, but going to that, Vienna, so you see your example itself, hai na? Here, what are
Yes,
FGs?
sir.
What are your FGs in this map?
They are only identity map.
So every FG is identity map. For every G belongs to G, FG is identity. Hai na? So then it is not bijective, hai na?
Right.
Okay. I'm just telling your example only to make that bijective to nahi ho paega. And also very rarely bijective comes. I don't know when it comes. Those examples are very tough. Why? Symmetric group of X cardinality, if it is infinite, of course, very difficult anyhow. But if it is a finite groups and finite X is also finite, most of the cases our X is finite and G is finite. Later, but I'm not told till now, okay. It is general things only I'm telling. But if it is finite,
Sir,
symmetry.
Sir, in that case, in that example, Sn to In, it is trivial.
Sn to In, one case we have, good. Yeah, so your example is helping that this is also true sometimes. It is a bijective there, right? Very good. We already have one example discussed today. That is given by Anirban, right? So Sn goes to In. So here symmetric of In is Sn only. So both are actually equal, right? There is a bijective thing is there. Good. So it is not completely ruled out whatever Vienna told, but it is very rare cases. Are you okay, Vienna?
Yes, sir. I was just guessing.
No, that's okay. Good. Yeah, you are actually helping to communicate dialects. I know that. Okay, good. Now, is it a homomorphism now? As Sangvi told, is phi is a homomorphism? That is a question. Yeah. So can somebody come up? What is that I need to check? Only one thing, homomorphism groups.
Phi of G1,
G2. So instead of G1, G2, let us take GH, right? For me, easy to write now, only writing, not typing. So GH, it is equal to what is that I want to show? P of G into phi of H. But what is phi of G? So what is that I want to show here? This is FGH. It is FG dot FH. FG into FH. It is a composition here. Are you following that? All those things should be very clear to us. Because once I take phi, now I am in symmetric. Symmetric group is a set of all functions. So FGH is a function from x to x, FG is a function from x to x, FH is a function from x to x. Between the function there is a composition operation symmetric. So now two functions are to be equal. So when two functions will be equal, if they are equal each and every point in the domain, right? So are you fine with? Can I proceed? Say yes or no.
yes.
Yes,
It
right?
will also follow
Yes.
from the second property.
Yeah, right. Yeah, correct. So follow from the second property. Actually, it follows from second property only. Right. So while doing it, it follows from the second property. Good. So that way we proved that what is we proved now? What is that we proved actually? So now big moral. Moral ka moral. Big moral is if G acts on X, so G acts on X implies there exists a, yeah, yes, hello,
Homomorphism from
Homomorphism.
G
Homomorph.
to symmetric.
yeah, there exists a homomorphism from G to symmetric group of X. Okay, so dedicated to whom? Dedicated to Sangvi. Okay, sorry, I'm not writing full GH or something. So okay, anyhow.
So if G and X are finite, can I say that order of symmetry group of X divides order of G?
I don't know that also. Order of symmetric group of X divides order of the
I
group.
mean,
No, that is anyhow not
like
true.
the homomorphism, no, so it should.
No, we need to work out. So let us see. Yeah. But
They
you
are
are telling that symmetric group of X divides order of the group. That is anyhow not correct.
Sir, we will have order of G by car phi will divide order of symmetry group of X, but that may not imply maybe.
Yeah. So anyhow, so what are the question you which you got to keep alive with you? You are saying that if G is acting on a group X, then and both G and X are finite, then order of the symmetric group of X divides order of the group. So that is what the statement you made, and keep it with you, and we'll see you yourself keep checking, and we'll see the examples. Yeah. So what is a next natural question comes?
The converse of this.
Converse of this, correct. So what is the converse of this result means I have a G is a, there is a homomorphism phi from G to symmetric group of X is a homomorphism. Okay, then my question is that yeah, so homomorphism then there exists a group action. So with this, what is happening if you're able to prove this part, for both the directions are true. So group action is equal to finding a group homomorphism from G to symmetric group of X. And if there is a group homomorphism from G to symmetric group of X, there is a group action, right? Yeah. So are you able to try this? So this is an exercise. So next class may one of you can come up and prove this. But it is true. So every so there is a one-to-one correspondence between the group actions and group homomorphism from G to symmetric group of X. So number of group actions is equal to the number of homomorphisms from G to symmetric group of X, and at least one will be there. One homomorphism we know from every element goes to identity, so that is automatically giving one, right? So one always be there, but non-trivial के लिए we need to have a non-trivial group action के लिए we need to have a non-trivial group homomorphism from G to symmetric group of X, right? So this construction will help you to get it a non-trivial group action. So any comments, anything?
Sir. Sir, sir, wait a minute, I forgot.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Take your own time.
Sir, yes, I was saying that can we say that the set of all group actions from G to X then forms a group somehow, and that group, if it is, will that group be isomorphic to the set of all homomorphisms, the group of all homomorphisms from G to sim X?
See, first of all, so you are telling that see, there is a set actually, home, all right, home of
yes
G comma symmetric of X. So the set says that set of all homomorphism from, so G1 and G2 are two groups, set of all homomorphism from G1 to G2. So is it a group? Okay, so we need to check that. Okay, once this is there, then I'm giving one-to-one correspondence to that. Then I need to give a map there also and try to look into that particulars. But question is very interesting question. So first of all, is it a group or not? And then we'll go to that direction and then we'll prove that part also. Set of all, I'll collect all the group actions. Group actions means I'm collecting all the functions satisfying those two properties from G cross X to X. And I had to define a map. I had to define some binary operation on that set, some set S. Okay, and that is a group. So the question is interesting. So I hope I understand the question. So what about others? Question understood at least?
So why should it happen?
No, I'm not saying happen or not happen. See, he asked that. It may not true. Okay, so you are telling directly that it is not true, right?
No, sir. sir, means how do we get the intuition for this question? Like, why should it happen?
No, he simply asked that, see, he also got this idea, set of all homomorphisms from G to symmetric group of X itself is a set first, right? What is the set contains?
Yes, yes.
All,
And
all,
it has identity also.
it
Huh,
has identity also, right? I think he got from that example only, identity or example only. And so for sure it is a monoid. Is it a group or not? We have to check. So then we'll go there, and what is the, so I am there, I am collecting all S. So all functions, okay, all F such that F is a map from G cross X to X. So satisfying those conditions. Okay, I'm not writing them. So those two conditions, then I'm collecting all those functions. Now I have to define some opposition, maybe composition operation, I don't know. So, but composition will not work, right? So this is a little, yeah, that's why I'm not and do not want to enter into at this juncture. I'm not at think, so time we need how to define and all. Yeah, but question is interesting, and at least myself I'm not asked earlier to myself. Yeah. So can I proceed?
Yes, sir, we will think.
Yeah, right. This we can add actually, right? If it is a answer is coming trivial, it is not, then for example, this is not a group, then no need to work out. Like that, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now we will go into again that orbits and stabilizers. So right now, somebody can conclude till now what we done. Forget about orbit stabilizer. Group action ki bare mein, so can you just conclude main moral. Vienna, yes, go ahead. You don't know what to tell.
Group action is not like a group, means X need not be a group there.
Right.
Group actions are number of group actions and the number of homomorphisms between G and symmetric group of X, they are same.
Yeah. Actually, there is a one-to-one correspondence between the number of group actions on a set X to
symmetric group of
number of homomorphisms from the group G to the symmetric group of X.
Yeah.
So are you comfortable, clear up to this extent? This
Yes.
is the main crux actually. Many people do not understand that correspondence. So once you understand it, remaining things will become easy. So Cayley's theorem is what it says.
There is a group which just a minute, sir. There is a group of permutations.
For every group, if you take any group G, then it sits inside a symmetric group of X, right?
Yes.
There
I
is
forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So what is the Cayley's theorem says? For every G, there exists an X such that G is isomorphic to H, right? Where H is subgroup of symmetric group of X. Am I clear now? Is it clear? For every group, there exists an X and there exists a subgroup for every X. So if you want, you can write there exists H, some that also I can write. Okay. So first I'll write that part. So for every G, there exists an X. Okay. And there exists H. There exists H subgroup of symmetric group of X such that G is isomorphic to H. So that means
Every
that
group is isomorphic to a group permutations.
Right. So every group sits inside a symmetric of X somehow, right? Yeah. So why I brought, we will see later. You start thinking, you will get certain things. So group actions and the Cayley's theorem are almost same like that. Some ideas may come. Okay. Okay. So now let us again go back. G is acting on X. G acts on X. Okay. Now I take X belongs to X. Now, now X comma Y belongs to X. I'm defining some, once G acting on X, now I'm trying to define a relation. Okay. So X is related to Y. There exists a G belongs to G such that G dot X equal to Y. Okay. So for example, for every X comma Y belongs to X, there exists a G in G such that G dot X equal to Y. Are you following what I'm wrote here? I'll come to this what I'm started, but is it clear? For every xy, whatever xy you take, there is a G. One takes to another. Okay. So this happens, then this action is called. Somebody know that?
Transitive.
Transitive action. So this is called transitive action. Okay. So G acts transitively on X. People write G acts. So for any two elements, I can take one to another. I will come to this again and again. Okay. So then we'll say that G acts transitively on X. Okay. So before going to that, okay, then let me write. G acts transitively on X. Okay. Okay. So there exists a G such that Gx equal to Y. So now what is the natural questions comes here?
Sir, it looks like equivalence relations.
Okay. Yeah. So this relation X is related to Y. There exists a G belongs to G such that G dot X is equal to Y. Okay, or simply we write Gx equal to Y. So why this is an equivalence relation? So first, is it reflexive?
Identity belongs to G.
So E dot X equal to X. So X is related to X is clear. Yeah, okay. So now X is related to Y implies what? By definition, there exists a G in G such that Gx equal to Y, right? This implies yes, Y is equal to. Now again I am doing second operation, but G inverse acting on both sides and then doing all those stuff, I'll get this. Okay, now I'm not getting directly. Okay, some mistake I done, but I'll change that. So first we'll act G inverse on both sides. Then again do the second property, and then finally I'll get X equal to G inverse Y, right? From this it is easy to see. So that means that this implies Y is related to X. Okay. Now X is related to Y, comma Y is related to X. That means there exists G, there exists H such that G dot X equal to Y, H dot Y is equal to Z, right? Then G, so H dot G dot X, okay, is equal to Z. So it is equal to Hg dot X, okay, Hg acting on X equal to Z. Hg dot X equal to Z. So this implies that, so this relation is an equivalence relation. So equivalence relation automatically partitions the set. Okay, so equivalence relation partition the set. So now that part equivalence classes I am calling as R bit of x. So I already denoted. So it is g dot x. These are the exactly the R bits such that, so I have to write the colon before. Right, I am writing again and again, sorry. G dot x such that g belongs to g. Okay, this is all the, so this is same as now according to this definition, all y belongs to x such that there exists g belongs to g such that g dot x equal to y. Okay, so that is also same as all y belongs to g such that y is related to x, right? So these are exactly that. Actually we have to go from here to here like that, but we defined earlier this, I am just connecting, but this is the correct way. R bit of x is that equivalence class of x, that is all y such that y related to x. That is nothing but there exists a g such that g dot x equal to y. So this set is the same as this set, right? So when you say that g acts transitively on x, then what happens? Can you tell me, somebody, please?
Orbit partition x.
What do you mean by g acts transitively?
Orbit of x equal to capital X for all x in capital.
So yeah, so in fact for every x it is true. So only there is only one orbit. For every x belongs to x, actually for every x you no need to write one orbit, it is equal to whole, then it is done, right? So there is only one orbit. So that's another way to say that g acts transitively on x. Is it okay, Vienna?
Yes, sir.
So I just give one more definition, then we'll stop today. New page after.
Sir, I have a question.
Please.
It's more linguistic. Why is it called an orbit?
Okay. So actually, it maybe that in the dynamical systems and many places, no, actually I do not completely know, but it is quite appear natural to me. Now I am a little bit dynamical systems. Which one is better? First, I don't know. That's why I am now doubting. I want to say dynamical systems. Their orbits will come, so keep on acting the same element. Yeah. Yeah. So sorry, I am exactly not known. Yeah. Somebody else. Yeah. Somebody else can say. Yeah. No problem.
It naturally looks like a orbit, isn't it? Means all the places where the element x is going. And also with Kumarsan sir's example in the YouTube lectures, that if we take that football ground wala example, then a particular football is going to some places, those places we are collecting and saying this is the orbit. Orbit means somewhere, means the orbit of Earth is the place where Earth goes. So orbit of X is the place where X goes, like that maybe.
Okay. Now I see why you think naturally. I understood, sir. Thank you.
Okay, anyhow, so maybe we'll just see historical, you also see, and let us work out that later. Yeah. Okay, now let us have one or two examples to understand clarity के लिए. So again, let us take S2 and R2. So S2 acting on R2. So that example we discussed actually, much little depth there. So what is orbit of 1, 2?
1, 2, and 2, 1.
So orbit of 1, 2 is 1, 2, and 2, 1. Okay, so identity takes 2, 1, 2 only, whereas other permutation takes 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. So in general, if I take orbit of AB, right, it's an element in R2. So sorry, 1 minute. So think about and let me tell. Orbit of AB.
AB and BA.
Every time.
Yeah, means unless A equal to B, or if
Yeah.
we assume that
Yeah,
the
so
set
this is actually, yeah, so you are correct that this is equal to AB and BA. This is set subset of R2 if A not equal to B. So if A equal to B,
No,
then
but it's a set, no.
right. So if A equal to B, right? If A equal to B, orbit contains only one element. So why we are not getting orbit contains 3 elements like that, 4 or 5 like that?
One thing is S2 has 2 elements, so maximum number of elements should be 2.
Because the orbit is G dot X, right? G dot X as G belongs to G. So how many maximum actions we have that many distinct elements of the group G? If G itself is finite, then the number of elements in the orbit is also finite, right? Good. So each orbit contains either 2 elements or 1 element under this action, right? So what about the stabilizers? In this example, next class completely computing stabilizers and orbits only. Okay, so you also come up with examples, right? I already have with me so many examples. So stabilizer of AB. Oh, I have to write the brackets in a reverse way. Yeah, right. You tell me. Yes.
If they are equal, then the whole group.
Okay.
Like stabilizer of AA is equal to S2. Okay.
So it is equal to entire S2, provided if
to B,
B.
or it
Otherwise,
is cycle 1.
oh,
Okay,
just
identity.
if A is equal to not equal to B. No, sorry. Here equal to B. Yeah, sorry. Here A equal to B, and right? Yeah, it's correct. A equal to B, and here it is A not equal to B. A not equal to B identity the only thing which fixes, right? Okay. So right. Okay.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
can we ask the same question Sn over Rn?
Good. Yeah. That is very interesting question. that is going to give you a lot of things. Okay, so let us take full cycle, right? Full cycle means 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, and so on. N minus 1 goes to n, and n goes to 1, right? So here again, what we can say about the cardinality of each orbit? Is it finite or infinite? First thing.
Finite, since Sn is finite.
Sn is finite, correct, right? So now it is interesting that it is better to find the cardinalities of all the orbits. Right? Okay, so which orbits it is actually contains only one element. So this is forget about this first, okay? So this is not my intention actually. Okay, so let us.
Can you write x as well?
Okay, first give me 1 minute. So instead of this thing, I want to first start with one element, how it is acting on Rn. So you'll get some idea. But orbit, while finding orbit, you will actually take an element from Rn. Okay, that you should not forget. So I'll take x1, x2, and so on, xn. Right. So orbit of this one is equal to what? Right. So now I am asking that can you give me the elements for which orbit contains only one element?
All equal.
All equal. Okay. If all of them are equal, then Sn. So you remember that all of them are equal is same as. So is it a subspace of Rn?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What is the dimension?
1.
1. See,
Line.
it is, yeah, here I want to tell you one point. We can think of elements of Sn as matrices. Right? Okay. So now let us look at S3. So how can you write them as matrices? Right? So 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. 1 2 transposition I can write as 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 0. It will help you to understand maybe. So, at least for me it is I like this approach. Think every element as a matrix and I'll operate on now, right? So finally I hope you know all the elements. Okay, let us, if you want 1 2 3 I will write. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 1, right? So like that I have matrices. Okay, so total there are 6 are there, some are missing here. So 6 elements are there. So we discussed one of the meetings, our meetings. What are all these matrices? Some common properties. You remember any of those? So this is actually
Determinant 1 on minus.
that is okay.
Orthogonal matrix.
Orthogonal matrices is fine. Much more. These are called permutation matrices. Permutation matrices are automatically orthogonal. So orthogonal is correct. So they transpose it itself. Sorry, their inverse is a transpose. Okay, yeah, correct, good, nice. So for all these, so now actually in R3 I am looking that vectors which are fixed by all of these. What do you mean by that? Can somebody tell that?
K times 1 1 1.
That is fine. This is fixing, but what is mean by that? What are these 1, 1, 1 and related to this matrix, this matrix, this matrix, and something? Can you say
Also, their row sum are same.
that is okay. Yeah.
Eigenvector.
Eigenvector. So 1, 1, 1 is an eigenvector to all of them simultaneously.
Oh, yes.
So actually, you see that what is actually going on here is that you take a matrix A, then you look for invariant spaces, right? Are you there? Invariant
Yes,
spaces.
sir. I was thinking of that.
Yeah. So see, you take one particular matrix, then you will take invariant spaces of this. So that partitions the Rn into some subspaces of Rn, right? Suppose A is diagonalizable. Orthogonal matrices are diagonalizable. So, but I have group of matrices. What is invariant space for the group of matrices means it has to be invariant with each and every matrix. We are demanding a lot, not with one matrix. Okay, then only that is actually good, the representation theory. So group actions and representations are same. Okay, so it is a part. I'll define you much more later. So this 1, 1, 1 is an eigenvector to all these matrices. Okay, no other vector. Now if I take any other vector, it will not go into fixed by this, right? Okay, what about this thing? So x1 plus x2 plus x3 is equal to 0. Are you following my point? So okay, I'll tell you much more clarity. What is that I'm talking about? I'm experimenting. I also don't know. So I take alpha. Alpha again equal to 1, 1, 1. You'll understand what I want to say. So H alpha I am defining. R3 is the inner product space. I am collecting all the vectors V belongs to R3. So you in a while you will understand that why I am putting H also here. So V belongs to R3 such that V inner product alpha is equal to 0. Okay. So you know inner product. So all those ABC. So V I am calling now ABC. All those ABC. No, all those XYZ better. So that is varying. V is varying. Okay. Now I hope you understand that. So all those XYZ belongs to R3 such that, yeah, can you tell me? V dot x plus y plus z is equal to 0. So I am looking for set of solutions, right? Solutions of which one? Some equation. Which equation? Homogeneous equation. So at least one coefficient is non-zero. That means that you know that this is a
Hyperplane.
it is a actually at least one quotient is non-zero. It is a plane first, right? Yeah. And it is that is the reason I put hyperplane. Why hyperplane I put? H I put hyperplane. Why you are thinking? It is of dimension 2 in R3, right? If you go to Rn, we will get dimension n minus 1. Okay. Now how this S3 acts on H alpha? Now I am asking, is S3 acts on H alpha? Means is it take H alpha element to H alpha again? That means I take x1 comma x2 comma x3 which belongs to H alpha. What do you mean by that? Hello, are you there?
Not all of them, sir. Some of them maybe.
Be careful. I am not telling that it goes to itself. I am not telling it goes to itself. So action means that I take. Wait, Vienna. You are telling. I understand that. I'm just to explain him the question so that he will also come up. So I'm asking that is it a group action? S3 cross H alpha to H alpha. So the earlier definition only, entire R3 पे भी हमने क्या किया? X1, X2, X3 goes to X sigma 1, X sigma 2, X sigma 3. That particular aspect only. Right? So
Right,
now,
right.
so if this is a solution, if I interchange any of these two, so X map to Y, Y map to X, X map to Y, Y map to Z, Z map to X, still it is a solution.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And your observation is that it not fixing, actually it not fix any element actually, except only one element. Which element it fixes?
0, 0, 0.
0, 0, 0. Origin. Entire R3 pe there are many vectors which is okay. So basically what I want to say that this is another invariant space. So entire R3 now. So see, this is in general true. Which is in general true. Forget about whatever we are discussing today. Okay, with that I will stop today. But since discussion, yes.
So we can say this is true because this equation is this polynomial is a symmetric polynomial.
Right, right. X1, X2, X3 is an elementary symmetric polynomial. That is another nice observation you made. X1, X2, X3 if I interchange, that is exactly that symmetric group. The group everything came because of the Galois. Rotating the roots and other things, right? Okay.
So
but
what
anyhow,
is symmetric?
sorry, symmetric polynomial. A polynomial is said to be a symmetric polynomial. So for example, K is a field. K is a field. Okay, and I take this K of x1, x2, xn. What is this means, Shivani? Sorry, Viana. Hello. What is this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
What is?
don't know.
You don't know. See, if F is a field, you know this.
Ring of
Set of all polynomials.
set of all polynomials with coefficients from F.
Yeah. So what is this F? A K of x1, x2, xn.
A set of all polynomials with variables from x1 to xn and coefficients from k.
Right. So for example, can you give me one polynomial in K x1, x2 pay?
What is k? Okay, it's a field, no. So x1 is
No, take real
x1.
numbers. Real numbers. Okay. Example.
Okay.
Real.
2x1 x2 plus x2 square.
Okay, good. Very nice. Okay. Now this is I can call f of x1, x2.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now sigma acting on this f. See, here also action is coming. You see, when it acts on something, then so that's why group action is more powerful. So how it acts now? F of x sigma 1, x sigma 2. What it is sigma is doing? It is converting one polynomial to.
Suppose it is S2, then it will be the same thing always.
S2 only. No. Do not be hurry. Do not be hurry, ma'am. Okay. So I am coming to you. So S2 only acting on this R x1, x2. So S2 contains two elements, sigma, identity and sigma, right?
Yes.
So where this identity, what is E dot F?
2 x1 x2
X2 square. Same F.
F.
Now what is sigma F?
2 x2 x1 plus x1 square.
Is it the same polynomial as original polynomial?
No.
No. So if it is the same polynomial, that means S2 acting on that will not affect.
Add x1 square.
Sorry. No, you are not
To
allowing
F
me
we
to tell
can
anything.
add x.
You are not allowing me to tell it.
Sorry.
Yeah, you have some questions, so I am trying to clarify that. Let me complete. So now this is not that function. So this is not a symmetric polynomial. Say polynomial is said to be symmetric polynomial. It is fixed under each and every element of S2. So my polynomial is f of x1 x2 is equal to x1 x2 only. Then what happens? Now you up to you. Now it is you going. You can talk now.
It will always be x1, x2.
Yeah. So for both of them, right?
Yes.
Polynomials of that type. You can give many polynomials. For example, x1 square plus x2 square. What about this?
It will always be same thing
Same
when
thing. So those
S2
polynomials
acts.
are called symmetric polynomials. So in this R x1 x2, I'll collect all the polynomials which are fixed by x2. Okay. So that is called symmetric polynomials. That itself is a subalgebra. So there is some theorem called fundamental theorem of symmetric polynomials also. I'll come to that. By using that, we will prove actually the fundamental theorem of algebra, right? Okay, but do not go into those things. I'll tell you whenever you. So I'll help you those things. But yeah. So can I proceed here? No.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
No. No, sorry. You are asking that what you mean by symmetric polynomial. So that is fine. That is good. So Anirban observed that actually the symmetric polynomial. So actually what is his point here is that he thought that x1 plus x2 plus x3, right? Hello, Vienna. So if I take any sigma, it will interchange x1 to x2 or something like that, right? Okay, so it is
Yes.
yeah. So he observed that way, and it is invariant. He told by using symmetric polynomials, right? That is very good observation. Yeah, so that's fine. That is good. So actually, I want to say one point here is that Sn acts on Rn. Okay, so what are invariant subspaces of Rn under Sn? See again, try to understand one matrix, then I can have all eigenspaces, but this is simultaneous eigenspaces. So actually, you can prove that only two invariant subspaces are there. That is this 1 1 1 1 wala. Okay, lambda times this. Okay, this is a subspace and this is invariant under Sn, and this its complement. Okay, that I want to tell you in a different way. I am going to tell you now. So that is this. What are all the vectors which are orthogonal to this? In fact, I can write Rn is equal to this R alpha. Okay, this I am calling as alpha, vector alpha. Okay, otherwise x. Okay, anyhow, so alpha. Then this H alpha, direct sum. Is it okay to all of you? Now these both are invariant spaces. So,
I didn't understand what is R alpha.
What is R alpha? You not understand?
Never mind. I understood. I'm so sorry, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So it is one dimensional and it is n minus 1 dimensional. Now, what is that I want to tell you is that this is a particular case, but I want to tell you that if you take alpha belongs to Rn in general, now go beyond this class. Okay, you take any alpha belongs to Rn and alpha non-zero vector. Okay, then I can define H alpha. What is H alpha? Can somebody tell me? All V belongs to Rn such that V dot alpha is equal to 0, right?
Trace 0.
Sorry, you are completely
Nothing.
confused. Trace is nothing is there.
I thought alpha is still 1 1 1 1.
No. I am telling in general. Again, even then trace is not all those. Actually, inner product of V alpha, all those vectors which are perpendicular to alpha, right? So I am taking that. So if you want to more clarity, you have any doubt, then take this some vector 1 comma 2 or something, then the perpendicular to that vector is this. Okay, so since it is alpha is non-zero, so this inner product is so alpha is you know, alpha equal to some alpha 1, alpha 2 and so on, alpha n. Okay, and v is some vector, v is varying, so x1 x2 xn, so I'll get alpha 1 x1 plus and so on plus alpha n xn is equal to 0, and at least one of the scalar is non-zero, so it represents a plane in the sense that hyperplane of dimension n minus 1, and it is easy to check that its dimension is n minus 1, and that is this 111 is this alpha is orthogonal to this h alpha. Alpha does not belong to h alpha, right? So because of that, so I can write Rn is equal to, I take this basis and I'll add this alpha to that. Sorry, again I am also telling 111 alpha to that. Then I have this direct sum. Am I fast or is it okay, Lalit? Lalit is here. Okay, Anirban, are you okay?
Yes, sir.
So now this is the, now in Sn case mein, this alpha is a particular alpha, that 1111 vector, those are the invariant subspaces. That means those are invariant under all the elements of Sn. And here we cannot get further, no element will fix. So I cannot further, I cannot divide it further. That is a beauty. So in the representation theory later comes, this is useful. Sorry, I took you little more side, maybe, I don't know. So this
was
one
very nice, sir.
Yeah, okay. This one actually we can work out more and study more things. Sn acting on a, and next class may I will tell you more things. GLNR acting on Rn, GLNR acting on Mn of R. So there much more linear algebra only I will bring everything, right? Yeah. Okay, so I will stop today. बहुत समय हुआ है. Thanks for your patience till now.